Everybody should be able to see the screen. Okay. And this is it. We're going to be speaking about the jealousy of Allah. Now, jealousy. This is something that can be directed at someone, or it can be directed at something too. Okay? Being jealous of someone means that you care deeply for that person and you don't want anything to come between you and that person. You don't want anything to compete with you and that person. That's what jealousy means for us. I care about my husband so much and I love him so much that I don't want any other woman or any other thing to compete with me in my love for him. Okay? This is jealousy. This is natural. Okay? This feeling of jealousy for someone, it always comes with the feeling of being jealous of whatever competes with you for him. Some of you sisters may have jealousy for your children because of your husband. How many of you sisters have asked the question, I have made the comment to me, that you think your husband loves your children more than you? Because whenever your husband comes home from work, instead of him coming and grabbing you and kissing you, he asks, where's my kids? And he grabs and kisses and plays with the kids. So you feel a jealousy towards your children because you feel that they're competing with you for his attention, for his love. This is very common. This kind of jealousy is okay. It's a praiseworthy jealousy. Why? Because the person doesn't like having partners in their love, but they don't want to harm the person that's competing. You don't wish no harm upon your children. You don't want to punish your kids, okay? You just don't like the idea of them taking away from your time with him, okay? And this feeling is likable when it comes to having love for the Prophet, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the love for the scholars, the love for the people of knowledge. Okay, subhanallah, you get jealous. You're jealous because you think that your teacher is spending more time with another student, okay, over you. You know, you think that this other student is competing with you to gain the attention of this teacher. Okay, that's how the companions were with the Prophet. They had a natural jealousy for each other, which is a likable jealousy. They all loved the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Abu Bakr had a jealousy towards Umar. Umar had a jealousy towards Abu Bakr because they felt that, wow, you know, I don't want him to favor you over me, but it's not vicious. This type of jealousy is okay, guys, because you don't want to harm anyone. It's just that, you know, you want to maintain your position with that person. Regarding loving Allah, the desirable form of jealousy is when the person is jealous that Allah will take his love away from you and give it to someone else. That's the type of jealousy that we should have towards Allah. I love Allah, and I don't want Allah to take his love away from me and in turn give it to somebody else. That's how we should feel in regards to jealousy for Allah. If you felt that way, then this person will not want others to know of his love for Allah, thinking that if they did know, they would attempt to spoil it. Also, such a person would think that if others knew of his love for Allah and Allah's love for him, Their deeds might stem from parts that are not for Allah, but instead to show off. Okay? Also, such a person would fear being a hypocrite in his love. And this is why this type of jealousy is praiseworthy and good. Do you guys understand that? That's why, we should never feel confident of our relationship with Allah. That's why we don't go around saying that Allah loves me more than you. How do you know that? Okay? That's what Shaitan did. That's what Iblis did. When Allah created Adam, Iblis became jealous. It wasn't the praiseworthy type of jealousy. It was a vicious jealousy where he felt himself superior over Adam. Okay? So when it comes to loving Allah, we should have a jealousy that Allah will not love us. If you looked at it that way, that would make you strive and struggle hard to stay in good standing with Allah and make all your deeds pleasing to Him. So as a whole, this type of praiseworthy type of jealousy requires that your condition, your deeds, and your actions all be for the sake of Allah. That's why the Prophet Muhammad said actions are based on your intentions. The intentions are everything. Why are you teaching? I'm teaching, not for fame, not for money. I'm teaching because I want Allah to be pleased with me. I want Allah to love me. I don't want Allah to take His love away from me and give it to someone else. Why am I praying? I'm not praying to show off. I'm not praying for man. I'm praying because I want Allah to love me more and not take His love away from me and give it to somebody else because I'm not praying to Him. So this is the praiseworthy type of jealousy. It means everything I do, everything is for the sake of Allah and not the sake of anyone or anything else. To be jealous that your time will be wasted in doing something other than pleasing Allah, that's the state of a true believer. The true believer takes advantage of his time, and we talked about that. The true believer, that's why I tell y'all to make a checklist. Make a checklist every morning of the things you need to do, because you don't want your time to be wasted on something that was not pleasing to Allah. I'm going to make the most of my time each day. So if you think that way, you'll be a person that earns Allah's love, because Allah is jealous too, guys. And Allah does not want us to choose to love anyone or anything over Him. Where's my dalil? The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, and by the way, remember I tell y'all, how can you tell if the person you are listening to is a person of knowledge? I just told you that Allah Himself is jealous, and Allah does not want us to choose to love anyone more than Him. Where's my evidence? That's a strong statement. Here it is, clear evidence. The Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam said, because of His jealousy, Allah has forbidden abominations, both openly and secretly. And no person is more jealous of His honor than Allah. What's the source? Sahih Muslim. Y'all see that? New shahadas, verify the information. If the people you are learning from are bona fide, qualified people of knowledge, they wouldn't make statements without giving clear proof. Laila said Allah is jealous. There's your dalil. Laila said because Allah is jealous, He don't want us to love anything over Him. There's your dalil. Allah says no person is more jealous of his honor than Allah is. There it is. Clear hadith that clearly states Allah is jealous, that clearly states Allah doesn't want us to choose to love anything over him. That's what verification is. If you guys are learning from real scholars of Islam, they would be using PowerPoint like Laila. They would be backing up their statements like Laila's doing. But I'm the bad one. All right. So Allah is jealous, and Allah's jealousy occurs whenever we do something that we're not supposed to do. What does that mean? Allah has told us what's lawful and what's unlawful. He told us what to stay away from. Whenever we choose to disobey him and do that which is lawful, this is when you invoke Allah's jealousy. This is why he's forbidden us from engaging in sinful deeds like smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol, smoking cigarettes, vaping, illegal intercourse, whether you do it in secret or whether you do it publicly. Whenever we disobey him, you invoke Allah's jealousy because you are disobeying him. You're doing something that he told you not to do. You sisters who are not wearing hijab, you sisters who are not dressing properly when you leave the house, you sisters with the fake eyelashes on, you sisters who are hanging around with men, partying with men, podcasting with men, okay? When you ain't talking about nothing of any value, not in Islam, you have invoked Allah's jealousy. His jealousy occurs whenever we do something that he has forbid us from doing. But for the person who has tamed their soul, for the person who has purified his or her heart to hold love and reverence for Allah, this is a person who prevents himself from disobeying Allah. This is a person who prevents himself from falling into sin. This is a person who doesn't have to worry about the anger that incurs from Allah's jealousy. Y'all understand that? If you remain firm in your belief and firm in your practice of this religion, instead of Allah's jealousy, you will bring about his love. And the love for Allah will continue to grow in your heart too. And you will become closer to him, closer to his throne. And remember, Allah says whenever he loves you, he becomes your eyes with which you see. He becomes your ears with which you hear. That means he's got you. He sees what you can't see. He hears the bad things that people say about you. And if anyone were to hurt you, he'd be there to protect you. That's what the love of Allah brings about. It doesn't bring about jealousy, his jealousy, because his jealousy incurs his wrath. But instead, it brings about his love and his protection and his guidance. And you will become amongst the people whom Allah speaks of when he says in the interpretation of the meaning, remember Allah with a lot of remembrance and glorify his praises morning and afternoon. You'll be a person who is taqwa, who has consciousness of Allah. And every day, every night, you'll remember Allah with your tongue. Allah stays in your heart. He stays in your mind, and it causes you to think twice before bringing about his anger or his jealousy. These are the people who, because of their love for Allah and their jealousy of Allah not being pleased with them, These are the people who, on the day of judgment, Allah says their greeting on that day, when they meet Allah, will be peace. Subhanallah. Subhanallah. So again, guys, yes, Allah is jealous. Allah becomes jealous anytime we disobey him. But after his jealousy will come his wrath. Remember, Allah tells us whenever we deliberately, intentionally disobey him, he will punish us twice. He'll punish us once in this world, and he'll punish us in the hereafter. So for those of us who bring about Allah's jealousy, that's a bad thing. We're also in bringing about his wrath and punishment. Okay, Allah has a lot of jealousy today about what's going on in the world. Look at us today. We disobey him. We take no heed to his commands. We don't follow the example of the Prophet Muhammad. We don't follow the example of the companions. Instead, we've adopted the Ruwaybidah, to replace the Prophet's Sunnah, to replace the example of him and his companions. So we have earned Allah's jealousy and anger. But for those of us who keep Allah fresh in our hearts and in our minds, we earn Allah's love. So another key to practicing this Islam after Ramadan is to understand the type of jealousy that Allah has. Remember, he created us to worship him. And he created us to live each day of our lives pleasing him. He has told us what to do. He has told us what to avoid as a means of helping us to fulfill the purpose of our creation. He has also revealed himself to us through his names and through his attributes as a means of helping us to develop reverence for him. He's told us that he's jealous. He told us of his jealousy. He told us what makes it happen and what happens as a result. So he's told us these things as a means of helping us to submit to him. But when you choose to defy him, when you choose to deny him, you choose to disobey him, you bring about his jealousy. For isn't he the one unto whom we shall return? Isn't his honor the only honor that matters after all? So when Ramadan ends, guys, in the next 3 to 4 days, remember Allah's jealousy and live your life in obedience to him. And you need to check your jealousy. See if you have jealousy of him no longer loving you. We should all be jealous of the fact that Allah may choose to not love you and choose someone else over you. Keep this in mind.